Welcome to the Explainer. Every pill you take, every single vaccine you get, it relies on this invisible shield that's protecting you. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at that shield. It's called data integrity, and it is the absolute bedrock of trust in all of modern medicine. So,
let's just think about this for a second. How high are the stakes, really? I want you to imagine the data behind a brand new drug. It's like a pilot's pre-flight checklist, right? Every single item on that list has to be perfect, because one tiny error, just one misplaced decimal, could lead to absolutely catastrophic consequences. So when we say data integrity, what are we actually talking about? Well, it's not just a snapshot in time. It's really a guarantee that the data stays pure, consistent, and untouched through its entire life. From the very first moment it's recorded in a lab, through every bit of analysis, all the way to when it's finally archived away. Okay, so why is this idea of perfection so completely non-negotiable? Let's dig into why it's truly the foundation of all the trust we place in our medicine. So how do you actually enforce that trust? You can't just hope for it. Well, the industry uses this really powerful framework known as ALCOA++. You can think of it as the gold standard for making sure data is trustworthy. ALCOA itself is an acronym, and it all kicks off with these 5 core principles. These are what form the absolute foundation for any piece of reliable data. And these 5, they are the non-negotiables. First, attributable. We have to know exactly who did what and when they did it. Legible. Can you actually read it, not just now, but years from now? Contemporaneous. This one's huge. Was it recorded right when it happened, not from memory hours later? Original. Is this the first record or a copy of a copy? And of course, accurate. Get just one of these wrong and the data is totally invalid. Period. But, the world got more complex, so ALCOA had to evolve. That's where the plus comes in. This means data must be complete. And that means everything. You can't just cherry-pick the good results. It has to be consistent, so the data tells a story that makes sense, enduring, so it doesn't degrade and it'll survive for years, and available, so it's ready for an auditor to look at a moment's notice. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, ALCOA++. That second plus stands for one more crucial principle, traceable. This gives us a complete audit trail. It's like having footprints in the sand that show the entire life story of that piece of data, including every single change ever made to it. So that's the theory. But what does all this actually look like in the real world, day to day? Let's shift from the principles to the actual practice. This is really where the rubber meets the road. It's not always about super complex software. A lot of the time, it's about disciplined habits. Using permanent ink, never using whiteout, recording data directly onto the official forms, not some sticky note. It's these little details that seem small, but they're what prevent catastrophic failures down the line. But what happens when those rules get broken? Let's take a look at what causes these failures and, more importantly, what happens when they do. The reasons for failure are often very human. Sometimes it's just a simple lack of training. Other times, it's intense pressure from the business to meet a deadline to cut corners. It might be outdated technology that makes it hard to do the right thing. Or, in the worst cases, it's outright fraud. Think about it. Just sharing a password completely destroys that attributable principle we just talked about. And the fallout from these failures, it is immense. We're talking about huge product recalls, FDA warning letters that can literally cripple a business, and a total collapse of public trust. For a pharmaceutical company, this can be an extinction-level event. So, when things inevitably go wrong, how do you fix them not just for now, but for good? Well, that requires a formal system, one designed for correction and for prevention. And that system is called CAPA, Corrective and Preventative Action. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a detective's investigation. It's not just about patching the problem for today. It's about finding the deep root cause to make absolutely sure it never, ever happens again. And CAPA is just relentlessly methodical. The process moves from identifying the problem and its risk to this deep dive investigation to find the true root cause, not just the surface level symptoms. Only then do you create a plan, you implement it, and then, and this part is crucial, you circle back to verify that the fix actually worked. When you boil it all down, all these acronyms, all these procedures, they really come down to one single powerful philosophy. It's about building a culture where doing it right is just what you do, especially when nobody's watching.
So where does that leave us? Well, while personal integrity is absolutely crucial, we just can't bet our collective health on it alone. And that's exactly why robust systems like ALCOA++ and Kappa exist. They are the true guardians of our medicine, the systems that ensure things are done right every single time, whether someone is looking or not.